I did have a topic I wanted to say.
Okay.
I remember a conversation we had about. Remember how I said when I was explaining to somebody that as a man of the house, like I'm supposed to be in control of the household. Not saying everything I say goes, but obviously not, because a lot of rules that you establish, I agree with. So a lot of times, like with Sammy, has an issue like do what your mom says because your mom is authority.
Mm-hmm.
But I also said this. Remember, I said like as a man, I feel like I should be like the ruler of the household. But as far as relationship goes, I believe that's in the power of the woman.
Mm.
Remember I said that?
Yeah.
And the reason why I said that is because of this. Nothing happens with the relationship unless the woman allows it.
Yeah, in essence, yeah.
I would never have gotten with you when I asked you to be my girlfriend. If you would have said no, none of this would have existed.
No. It's almost like you give the supply and it's up to like me to make the yay or nay. And that's something I think especially for young people out there who are in relationships to understand it's a partnership.
It is.
Deal. And that's another thing too, I get it, having fun and things like that, especially in your younger years. But you also have to realize especially if you're deciding to you see kings and queens type deal,
Mm-hmm.
Who are you trying to match with to be able to run your empire? Who is it? And a lot of times the guys are in my opinion, the guys the head of the household, but at the same time, women have a great say in the
Well, it's just like what Shakira said. Shout out to Shakira. She said the men are the head, but the women are the neck that moves the head.
Yeah.
So it's you're just as powerful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the reason why I say it is this is because going back to what we said about how sometimes girls get into these bad relationships with guys. They don't understand that they have the power to end it, and they have the power to even create the situation.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said that is because I'm saying this because for ladies out there, you don't know how much you are. Some people don't think that they're valuable. I have some ladies who have low self-esteem thinking that they're not worthy. You are worthy. You have the power to start a relationship. You have the power to consent to, intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't force myself on you, even as my wife. I can't force myself on you without, into an intimate situation without your consent.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you tell me no, that's assault.
Yeah.
And guys, you have to understand out there, I don't care if you are together or not, when a woman says no, get off.
Mm-hmm. I think that goes both ways too.
I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. But, you see more, I'm not saying it's more cases of, that happened against a woman, the assaults happened against a woman. The man, I don't know the statistics. I'm not going to say, it generally happens with God does that to women. But what I'm saying is, there's a lot of situations guys don't understand. Some people don't understand that when the lady says no, you're supposed to stop.
Yeah.
You're supposed to stop. I don't care if you, and this is, I don't know, this kind of on the secular side, because, and, Bible doesn't promote fornication, whatever, but let's get real. People not always following the Bible. People not going to be part of God. People don't like the Christianity. Some people don't like me because I am Christian. You know what I mean? So let's get real, okay? Mm-hmm. So even though if you're intimate with that girl, everything gets hot and heavy or whatever.
Yeah.
if all of a sudden she says, no, I don't want to do this, get off.
Yeah.
Get off of her. Stop it. Because when a woman no longer consents to being involved in an intimate situation, and a guy tries to, force her into that situation, or decides to try to keep going, it's no longer consent no more. That's assault. And because of that, that's a crime. Mm-hmm. And because you committed a crime, you can go to jail.
Yeah. Or
prison, or wherever they send you. And men, you have to be careful. You have to be careful with that. Like I say, the same law applies to you as even though we're husband and wife. It doesn't mean I can, do whatever I want. If you say no, I don't want it. I can't do nothing.
Yeah.
Because then it's no longer consent. And going back to what I said, women, you don't know how much power you have in a relationship. You don't. You're very powerful. You have a lot of power in a relationship. I cannot stress that any further. You have the ability to shift the relationship to where it needs to go. Now, if a guy feels like, oh, I can't be with you because you're not giving me any intimacy, let him go. Let him go, because see, the wrong thing to do is to change yourself because you want to be with somebody. Mm-hmm. You never want to change who you are just to be with somebody. Because you know what? What does that Bible verse say? Be not conformed to the ways of the world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And Jenny, you can find that Bible verse and put it up there for me.
Okay.
When I talk about conforming, it's like taking something that's so beautiful, like a lump of clay that's in a ball, and then you just mashing it and twisting it up and stuff like that. That's what conforming means. Mm-hmm. Meaning you're allowing people's thoughts in society to mold you into something that may not be recognizable to you in the mirror anymore.
Yeah.
How many people can look at themselves in the mirror and how many people look themselves in the mirror and see who they really are? Did that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's how I see it. Like sometimes, like when I was, especially like in my own messed up world of myself, when I used to look at the mirror, I didn't see like myself in the mirror anymore. I saw what the world did to me and made me to something that I could not even recognize in the mirror.
Yeah.
And that's what conform is. Mm-hmm. You're getting manipulated. So women, when God's forced you to do something, you're getting manipulated into something that you don't want to be, to the point that you can't recognize yourself for who you used to be anymore. All because you want to be with somebody. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do that. There are plenty of men out there in the world that you can be with that can make you still see yourself within the mirror. And I'm not saying like, I'm just using mirror as a metaphor. You know what I mean? Not saying actually look in the mirror, but I just want to say that you can still be who you are as a core and still be with a man. Mm-hmm. Look, I get it. Like when I was with you, I was a different person. Okay. But at the same time, I still feel like I am the core of myself. Like the things that I like to do, the things that I am that make me up before I met you, I still feel as though that's the same me even 17 years later. You know what I mean? Yes, there's some things about me that I compromise, because relationships is, to me, what I always say, relationships is like two countries forming together and sign a treaty to be together, you know what I mean? To unite together. And, this country is from United States, which is you, and I'm from, say like Japan or Australia. So some of my policies that I've raised on this side might be different from your policies that you raised on this side. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of times we're butting heads, just to have this reconciliation of a relationship.
Yeah.
So there are some things that you do have to compromise, but I never lost my core. And I feel as though I tried. You never lost your core.
Nope. I'm still nerdy and gothic and...
Oh yeah, she's such a bookworm too. You know what I mean? She was always been, but see, that's okay because I was always a strong faith in individuality. You know what I mean? I was a big advocate for individuality. That was one of my things. Like I didn't want you to, always be under my whim and under my shadow. I wanted you to be your own person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there's plenty of men out there who you can be with that can pretty much suit most of your requirements in guys, your standards like we said earlier, that would actually be more beneficial than allowing some person to manipulate you to be something that you're not.
Yeah.
And that goes backwards switch around with the men too. Men, there are plenty of women out there that can build you up and take care of you, and you can still be your core self, and you can still be with that person without being manipulated to something that you're not,
Mm-hmm.
And plus, I find that in a relationship, when you have two people that are in a real committed relationship, they tend to build each other to a higher plateau than they thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For example, when I first was with you, I was just a pack out guy at my job.
Yeah.
Now I'm a truck driver. So like my lady helped me upgrade into something that I never thought I could. And right now she's upgrading me to become, I don't know, you call this a podcaster or whatever. Or, but I'm talking in front of the camera in front of you based upon her giving me the confidence that I can do it. So the people who belong in your circle are the people who are willing to help you build yourself into a higher plateau than you started from. If you can't build yourself, if you feel like you're plateauing and not going anywhere, or if you feel as though you're downgrading, then you don't belong with that person. Not only in a relationship or with, relationship wise or with a friend. People are supposed to be building each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the way it should be. Unfortunately, sometimes it's not. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to count your losses on them people and just let them go, including the ones you love. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. One thing you have to understand is what I said before. Everything you do, in the end, you will die alone. So everything that you worked upon on this earth, God is going to judge you on your actions that you did, not what your friend did, because what your friend did, God's going to judge them on what he did or she did and not what you did with them. This is what you did. So you have to rely on you and what you want.
Yeah.
But you're powerful. Don't trade that power for nothing. On that.
Facts.
All right, so we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about some funny things like relationships and and all the way to peer pressure, kind of like I was generalizing with peer pressure and who you belong to, and we talked about substance abuse, why you shouldn't do it. And we talked about other things about the power of, a woman's real power in a relationship and a consent and all that stuff. And I know it's a lot to take in, especially just like on one episode, And I know life can be difficult sometimes. Sometimes things get skewed when you're involved in a situation that to you might be proven to be dire. You know what I mean? But you have to understand this, and this is the beauty of the Lord. Regardless of any problem that you're involved in, regardless if you're trying to find yourself, and regardless if you're trying to know who you are, who the person around you are, who you are around that person, God is always there through your travel. From your birth, God has given you your name. God knew who you are, or who you were, before you even set forth on this earth, before you even opened your eyes. God knew how many years you was going to live here. God knows how many years you're going to have left. God knows all the stuff that you're about to walk into, not only because of time and how, the things you progressing in through society when you get older. And God knows about the troubles you're going to get through because of the decisions you made. I am a living witness of that. I've talked about me being depressed because I didn't know how to be happy with myself, to the point that I was running throughout the streets of Philadelphia. I talked about, things about being suicidal because I couldn't find myself. I couldn't be happy with myself. I hated myself. When I was talking about episodes of hate, I learned how to hate before I really learned how to love. So I am a prime example of how things could just, manipulate you into becoming something that you're not proud of. But you know what? Here's one thing I know. When Jesus Christ went on the cross, he took everything you did and took it down with him. He came back and became an authority over you. There's a lot of things that he did when he was in his time of death, and he became resurrected on the third day to ascend into heaven because he became king, which was Christ. There is nothing your Heavenly Father, there is nothing that your Heavenly Father does not know. It's not one thing, one emotion that he does not understand. He knows depression. He knows obsession. He knows hate. He knows lust. He knows love. He knows all of that because, like I said, he was tacked on him when he took the sins off of you and he defeated the enemy. And he conquered it. So I ask you, in your personal struggle, what is there in this world? What is in this world that your Creator cannot get you out of? Your road is going to be hard, young people. Your road is going to be difficult. Your road is going to have you thinking, am I doing this right? Your road is going to have you thinking that why am I even alive? I don't want to go through this. I don't want to live no more. This is too hard. I just want to end it. But guess what? One thing my mother said when I was going through my depression, and it still hit me home today, and this was back in 2002. When I was telling her my problems, my mother told me, but you're still here. And the reason why you're here is because God wants you here. You will make it. You just have to stay away from the devices that the enemy wants to throw upon you to trap you, because the enemy seeks to devour your soul. And he wants you to suffer just like he's going to suffer in his day of judgment. Don't you know that there are powers in this world, spiritual powers in this world, that hate you so much that they want you to suffer for an eternity? You have the power to beat the enemy. You have the power to beat depression. You have the power to beat suicidal thoughts. You have the power to beat any kind of situation that's in this world. I said it in an early episode that you do have default strength to conquer a lot of battles. But what greater strength you have when you allow God in your life? It's like a combined power of your own strength and godly strength. Why waste all your own strength when you can have God's strength added onto it so you can defeat the enemy with ease? But on this, you're blessed. You have to know that you're blessed. You have to know that you're going to be okay. And you have to know that there are people on this world who want you to succeed. And I'm one of them. My wife is one of them. That's why we did this episode like this. Because we want you to not stumble onto some of the pathways that people took. They ended up getting their lives taken. We don't want that. Go out there and be a blessing for the Lord. Because I never realized how much of a blessing my life is until I accepted Him and tried to do the will that He wants me to do. So until then, stay tuned, stay alert, and remember, youngins, you are the movement. I don't know how long I have on this earth. I do not know how long I got on this earth. So I'm going to need a younger generation to take control and keep this cycle of helping people going. I need y'all right now to be my next generation of story time. Start today. I love you. Get going. Peace.